Hey, welcome to Nursing Home Insider Behind the Call Light, and I'm Cherie, and I've worked in nursing homes for years and years and years. And if I wasn't in a nursing home, I was working privately or in some capacity. So I want to talk today about the 10 common dementia triggers. And I know I made a YouTube short about this, and I said I was going to make a longer one, so here we go. This is a very big deal to me, and it's a very sensitive subject to a lot of people, and I want to be able to help as many people as I can to understand dementia. And because they're not trying to get on your nerves, they're just trying to say something, or maybe you just need to understand how to better deal with them. So that's my goal. Okay, that's all. The first trigger is loud, sudden noises. Oh, and let me just say first, before we go into the loud, sudden noises, everybody's different, of course, and there's different stages of dementia. So at the very beginning, obviously, you're not going to see all this. And then the further you go, different things happen. And not all of these 10 are going to be true of everybody. Okay, I've been around lots and lots and lots of dementia. Some will exhibit some of these, some will not. My grandmother had dementia, and she exhibited some of these too. So knowing that not all of them are going to affect you, just try to understand your loved one the best you can. Okay, so loud, sudden noises is definitely a trigger. And obviously what you want to do is keep their environment as calm as possible. Maybe at some point in their life they love loud noises, like me. But the dementia it heightens sensory sensitivities. So if you can just think like that, like everything then is extra hypersensitive. So it just causes confusion. It causes them to be afraid. And so what you just need to do is try to keep them in a calm, stable environment. Okay, so let me just say, that's if they're home. What if they are in a memory care facility? First of all, most memory cares, they're set up for dementia residents, which means the environment is calm. Should be. And no, not all of them are, unfortunately. And I do have some examples I'm going to share of bad scenarios. And not, I don't want that to scare anybody either, because I've got just as many good stories. So the second one is mirrors. And that is at some point, probably mid-dementia stages, they may look at themselves in the mirror and wonder who that is that they're looking at. They don't recognize themselves. They could think that it's somebody watching them, somebody else in their house that they don't know. So obviously what you need to do is cover those mirrors or take them down, whatever you can do to minimize that fear that they have. 3, let's go with too many people talking at once. That kind of goes in the loud noises. I remember taking, we had a couple that I sat with for years and years, and we would go out to eat all the time. And then, at some point, it would just, too many people in the room would just kind of irritate him. He couldn't understand what was going on. And I just think that it's hard for them. There again, they go back to that environment of being at home, being in a quiet place that they're used to, is what they need. Like if they don't like change, which we're going to get to in a minute. So that's the other thing. So if you're taking them out and all the time, and then all of a sudden you notice that's not working, it's just too much stimulation and they can't deal with it. So number 4 is poor lighting or shadows. So speaking about poor lighting, I know this is not the best lighting right here. I'm trying to get in the sun as much as possible. So if that's true and they're in a dark room or there's shadowy figures everywhere, you can easily understand how maybe sometimes confusing wise to them, those shadows can become a person skulking around in the dark. Kind of like a kid being afraid of monsters under their bed. It's kind of the same thing. So just use warm, consistent light. If you've got a great place to open up and have sunshine coming in, even better. And number 5, let's go with feeling ignored or left out. And there again, because they just don't understand what's going on around them, if you're taking them out in a situation and they're confused or they're just sitting there quiet, they can't comprehend all that anymore. It's a really weird, awful disease that, like I could say I have it and tomorrow, just certain things start eating away at your brain every day. And so one day you're okay with driving and the next day you driving around and you don't know where you are. So it's it's so awful. Like, and I watched my grandma die from that. So anyway, I don't want to be emotional. So if you just try to make eye contact and say their name, be very calm with them. There's no hollering. There again, if you holler and get upset, you're going back to that needing the calm environment. So if you can't provide that for them, by all means, please try to find some place where they can be in a calm environment. And that's not bad to you. Some people just can't do it, and that's okay. So the other thing is clutter. My mother would, she'd be perfect if she ever had it, because she is the most clean person in the world. So if you have a space that is full of lots of patterns and disorganization and just stuff everywhere, then obviously you need to get rid of stuff and clean it out. I just realized I had my dishwasher running. Okay, so when we're on clutter, okay, hunger, thirst, bathroom. I'm lumping that all together as in physical needs that that maybe they can't express what they need. Okay, so they're hurting, their stomach's hurting, they've got a headache, and maybe they're past that point of being able to explain to you what it is they need. So any of those situations, hunger, thirst, I know it sounds awful to say. It's like when you have a baby and they're too little to tell you what they need. It kind of goes back around. I mean, Shakespeare talked about that a lot. So in this situation, you need to pay attention to nonverbal clues. So, just, are they fidgeting around? They have a grimace on their face. You know them. And, if they're in a memory care with a good, caring CNA, they know them and they know what they need. And definitely there are good ones, okay? Because I was one. And I worked with a lot of good ones. I worked with some not so great ones. And I know some not so great ones. So you're going to have the good with the bad all the time. Okay, so let's see. Pain, like I said, pain, hunger, thirst, bathroom, kind of lumping those all together. So kind of took 2 of them with that. Now, this comes to my last 2 that I feel are the most important, or I should say the ones that most people do struggle with, that I've noticed over the years. So we'll go with changes in routine first. They like predictability. Maybe they never did, but because of all that's going on in their brain, just having a steady place, they get up and they do this and they do that and eat breakfast and watch TV, play a game. I don't know, but it has to be pretty structured. That's where they thrive. If you take them out of that and you're throwing them into somewhere new, you're going to have issues. And I know, like, going back to the people that I've cared for before. Like, could be fine in the house and you have to go to the doctor. You have to go to the dentist. You have to go to the emergency room. All of those just kind of take your routine and throw it out the window, and it's never a good thing. So you have to be very calm and reassuring in those situations, because they like it to stay the same. Okay, and that's very important. Being rushed. There again, I'm a very fast person. I like to get things done, and I do them quickly. However, when I was a CNA for years, when you're dealing with dementia, you cannot rush anybody. You're just going to meet resistance. You're going to meet anger. You're going to meet all kinds of things. So let me just tell you a quick story. When I was a CNA, and I had 14 residents, and yes, they were all well taken care of, all 14. I can guarantee you. You just figure out how to do it right. Anyway, so she was on my floor, and she was severe Alzheimer's. She could still play the piano, and she loved to sing and play the piano. She had played in church for years. And so in the mornings, I would go get her up. I would try to get everybody else up that I needed to get up, and then go to her, because I knew it was going to take a long time. I would go in there by myself, which is what you have to do. They don't like a big crowd. They want the fewer stimulus, the better. Okay. So I would go in, I would sit on the side of her bed. I would rub her little face, rub her arm, and just talk to her and wake her up. We would talk about things like music, or when she was little, or whatever would wake her up. And once she was awake, then I would start dressing her slowly. And then after dressing, you had to try to sit her up and get her in the chair. And all this took a long time, or you went to the bathroom. I mean, we're talking a long time. And if it was bath day, I always saved her when I had time, because there again, it would take all this energy and time to get her there. But we sang church hymns the whole time. The whole time we were in the shower, the whole time we were drying her hair, whatever, we sang. And as long as we did that, and she felt comfortable, she felt in a place that she knew, then she was good. She never acted out with me. She never tried to bite me or hit me. Now, let me just fast forward to another day when I was busy doing something else, and I had two of my workers going to come and help me. And they were good CNAs. I'm not saying that they were not. But, they had their own thing to do, and they were coming to help me for some reason. I don't remember now. But they went in to get her up. Two of them together. There might even been three that day. I don't remember. But I just know it was a nightmare. So they just go in, grab her, throw her clothes on her, and throw her in the chair. Now, while all this is going on, I can guarantee you it was nothing pretty. She was fighting. She was kicking. She was biting their arms. She was doing everything, screaming at the top of her lungs. So I come running in there, and I see this, and I mean, oh my God, I was beyond mad, if you can understand that. But, they got the job done, but at what expense? All they did was make Margaret upset. So, if you can't take the time, or you don't want to make time, all of that is okay. Maybe you're busy. You work all day. You got to get up. You got to go. It's just stuff to do. It's okay to put them somewhere that will give them what they need. And if not, you could have in-home care. I've done that before. People stayed home. I went to them. Yes, that's very expensive. There's assisted livings. There's even homes that offer, just memory care, a little home, like a little group home or something. There's all kinds of situations. And so I guess what I want you to know as a family member, or maybe you've been diagnosed and you're in the first stages. I don't know where you are. But I'm here and I do care. I really do. Every situation is different. And there's no judgment ever from me, because, and you may keep yours at home the whole time, and you may feel like that's the only answer. Okay, but there's another family out there who cannot do that, and that's the only answer they have. So nobody's right and nobody's wrong. You just have to be there for the one you love, and there are ways to do that, and we can talk about that more in another video. I'm really being emotional today. So there is something in the link below that has a list that you can print up, that you can print up free. Okay, I also have a few things that I'm trying to sell. I'm working on some stuff, that I have a complete guide, like, that you can, it's a planner, like, just for all your information or for their information, that you can put it down. It's not real expensive. I have some conversation cards that are really cute that I made that you can print up in color, and maybe, even put them on cardboard if you want. And it's just, it's a good time to spend with them, to talk to them. Maybe it's not your level. Maybe you're a CNA. Maybe you're just a caregiver in somebody's home and you want ideas about what to do. I've got lists of those things. I'm just trying to compile a bunch of resources, and I want to be able to help you however you need me to help you. I mean, I definitely don't have all the answers, and there are people probably out there watching that maybe have more years experience than I do, and that's perfectly normal. I'm just trying to do what I can to help somebody. So I love the elderly, the disabled. It's always been my heart. And so, like I said, watching my grandmother go to not knowing who I am, and that was back, I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s, probably in my 30s. And, so luckily I had her around for a while. But it was very hard. So it's a very hard disease. And if you're struggling with that, I'm very sorry. And you probably are if you're watching me. So, like I said, please feel free to like and subscribe and get any of those things that you can get. And if you need me, I've got my email address down there that you can reach out to me. I'll be glad to do what I can to lead you in the right direction. And I pray that y'all have a great day. Thank you.